Okay, it's time to fill in the holes in the insulation, both for this water line and for the flue line. And I have a couple interesting products that I'm going to be using on this, and I'd like to show them to you. The first product is Rockwool. You can't get this stuff anywhere. They do have it at Lowe's, but I believe we had to special order it. At any rate, compared to fiberglass insulation, this has a lot of qualities that are way more desirable. First thing is, it's not affected by moisture. So I can use this on the water lines. If they sweat and this stuff gets damp, it's not going to affect its insulation value at all. And it's not flammable, so I can use it around the flue. I could probably use fiberglass around the flue as well, but we're going to use the Rockwool. Also, Rockwool doesn't lose its insulation value if it's compressed. So I can use it in these tiny little areas. Like, I'm going to fill in behind here and here, and then this will go back in there, and I'll fill around the sides, and basically I'll fill this entire area down here. I'll probably use fiberglass up here because this is not going to sweat up here, but it's likely to do a little bit of sweating down here, and the Rockwool will be able to handle that. We also have membrane, which is a vapor barrier. It's like a plastic sheet, and what this does is it allows moisture to go one way during one season and the other way during the other season. And that allows walls to dry out that did get damp. We don't have to use this. I could just use this craft paper like is everywhere else, but we just got these tiny little spots. So I'm going to put that here and up there and wrap this up. I may as well plug this as well right away. Kimberly-Clark Block-It seam tape. I use this a lot on any seams that I'm trying to seal up. This is for house wrap, but it basically sticks to anything. It's a really good tape, and you can unroll a piece and just tear it off, unlike a lot of the other seam tapes. I did this wall, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and most tapes won't even stick to XPS foam, but this sticks to darn near everything. I think it's the acrylic adhesive, but couldn't tell you for sure. So, first thing we got to do is take some of this loose stuff. You just crumble this up. This is made from basalt, and I don't know why it's so different from fiberglass. This works by being fluffy. This is really not fluffy at all. It's very dense, but it certainly does work. So I'm just going to fill behind here. That was filled, and I believe it still is. That was filled with XPS behind the bracing and behind the columns, but I had to take a little bit of that out to do this stuff. So I'm going to fill that with the Rockwool, and then we're going to vacuum this out, get it nice and clean, and then fit that big piece into here, and we'll go from there. This is what I was talking about with this tape. It has little perforations on the side, so you can just tear a piece off. And it's the only one of these seam tapes that I know of that is like that. I know this red stuff here, you have to bring a knife or a scissors along with you and cut it each time, which is a real pain in the butt. Okay, I'm just gonna split this chunk like that for the pipe, and then fit it around the pipe. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yeah, we'll just take this off and put that membrane on this. Just put a patch over the top, and I'm going to leave this just as thick as it is, and I'll fill in this upper part, and then we'll get the membrane on there. And there you have it. This membrane is some pretty cool stuff, really high tech. The only place you can find, or the only place we could find it in this area, was at Home Depot, and it's kind of hidden away. It was up on a high shelf. It's like not too many people know what to do with it, but the membrane and Rockwool work really well together, especially if you have poor ventilation. It allows any accumulated moisture to get back out of the wall. Okay, yeah, and the Rockwool, we have a hard time getting that in this area as well. We used to use this at the shipyard I worked in. This is what they insulate the yachts with. And at the time, where were we? We were importing this in big quantities. I think it was Denmark, something like that. And it was not called Rockwool. It was called Roxol. So now it's kind of hit the mainstream a little bit. We got this at Lowe's. Lowe's is the only place I know of in the United States to get this. And at least this particular thickness and width had to be special ordered, but that might not be the case in your area. So I got to move some stuff to get up at this, and we'll get that wrapped up. I cut this piece of insulation out when I put the flue through there, and this normal fluffy insulation is held up by these. These are called insul hold strips, and these bend out and you poke the insulation onto them. So this should fit the opening. I think what I'm going to do is cut it right here and then fill that with Rockwool, and then cut the other piece to fit the top part. And then I guess we'll just piece a few little pieces of that membrane around this. We're going to use aluminum tape and keep the tape over here. This doesn't get really hot, but better safe than sorry. So let's cut that fiberglass and wrap this up. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for today. I put in fiberglass down here and Rockwool. I put it back into here and tied up against the column over here. It's all fitting really nice, and then I packed it in around the thimble here. I'm going to go back with some thin metal. I'm going to notch it around this pipe and just shove it up in here and do the same from the top. But I'm not going to do that today because I don't have that thin metal. I do have a bunch of this tin, but that has ribs on it and it won't work. So I'll finish that part of this. Oh, and then I'll tape the edges with aluminum tape. So we'll be doing that at a later date, like I said. And the next thing I'll be doing out here, well, it's not out here, it'll be outside. I just heard a woodpecker pecking on the pipes for the mini split there, and I'll be installing this as soon as it warms up a little bit out there. It's probably mid-40s and really windy out there, so too nasty to work outside right now. But what this is going to do, it's got a little cap on it. Got to kind of do a little bit of assembly, assemble that cap, rivet it on, and then we're going to be installing this over the lines out there. And then where they come out at the bottom, we're going to tape all that. And then we're going to be 100% done on the outside. The only thing left to do with any of this insulation or anything is we need insulation right above the door. That's waiting for a light that's going to get attached there for above the door outside. You can see the wire coming down right there. That's the electricity for it. But I think I'm just going to put some loose insulation in there anyways. Have this place fully insulated for the first time. It's insulated as all get out right now. And it can be really nice in here in the winter, but it's never been 100% insulated. And I'd kind of like it to be. So, got a lot of videos coming up. If you watched the previous videos, I got my punch list here. I tested the water, got that all filled in. I don't think I even have this stuff on the punch list, but it's done. Fix heater. That is going to be coming up soon. And then we're going to jump over and finish up all of the dust collection stuff. So make sure you stop back to see that. The first part of that is going to be getting this barrel ready to go. So should be pretty interesting.